Working in a product-driven company makes it easy for us PMs because we don't have to do the work of evangelization, let's say, of the practice. Like in a product-driven company, it's going to be easy to tell your stakeholders, hey, I'm going to run an experiment to understand whether this is a problem worth solving. And people will understand and they will have a shared language. It's easy when you're trying to implement product practices in a company that already has a product mindset. But yeah, it's a big challenge. And I've been there as well. I've been in more traditional companies where trying to implement product discovery feels like a waste of time. What I usually do in those cases is trying to tell them with a lot of passion and enthusiasm about these practices and use very concrete examples. Like the fake door, it's very powerful as a way of showing the value of product discovery. So if you think of Dropbox case, they didn't even wrote a line of code in order to validate that their product was going to be appealing. They created this video. They published it. In the video, you could see how the product was going to work, which basically was cloud technology, which was a little bit complex at the time, but very simplified. So they kind of democratized cloud technology because they added a new folder on your desktop. But the only difference was that the files in this folder they weren't saved in your computer. They were actually saved in the cloud. And it was an aha moment for tons of potential customers. They signed up for it, and they, in a matter of days, they had a massive list of people who wanted to use this product. A way I implemented fake doors in previous experiences. I remember I was talking. I was in a video streaming company. We were building product for kids. It was videos and games for kids. The company was Cartoon Network, right? And then at that moment, we were trying to have more customer frequency, meaning that we wanted kids to watch more videos. And we said, okay, which are the possible reasons by which kids are not watching that much videos as we would like? And we said, okay, I remember there were a couple of stakeholders who said, probably kids, when they go to school, they commute in the car with their parents, and they won't watch long form videos because it consumes a lot of your cell phone data. So we should build something like Download to Go, like this feature that Netflix has. We started analyzing how long it would take to implement it. And because in the video streaming world, there's a lot of restrictions on how you distribute a certain content and make sure that this content cannot be downloaded and it's protected and encrypted. We realized that we had to use a third-party technology, and we started to look into implementation times. I would take 6 months in order to implement Download to Go. So I said to these guys, hey, what if we placed the button of Download to Go just as if it was there, and then when the users click there, we say, hey, we are working on this feature. If you want to know when we are going to release it, please click here. With this, you have a very interesting thing because you get to deliver an experiment that takes less than 1 week to develop, because it's basically a button and a form. And you get to see which is the real intention from users to actually use that feature. After a couple of weeks of running the experiment, we realized that only 2% of, if I recall correctly, it was 2% of the kids wanted to use Download to Go. And from those 2%, only 10% wanted to receive a notification when this feature was available. So with that, we got like very valuable information that helped to inform our decision process. And we decided not to move forward with this, because if we really had taken 6 months to implement this feature, but only 2% of the users would like to use it, that would be a total failure.
That's super interesting, and I love all the story and the framing. One of the comments that I used to receive on this kind of approach is, okay, but don't users get pissed off because actually they think there is a feature, but they are not getting it. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we understood that users are more, willing to help you than what you think actually. So they want their product to get better. And once you ask for their help, it's kind of okay being part of it.
I think a good way of framing this is, yes, we are actually putting some intentional friction. So you're generating friction to your customers, but it's going to be in a very, very short time period until you get the evidence that you were looking for, and you'll get very valuable information out of it. So again, it's intentional friction that you are putting in place for a short time period, and in exchange for that friction that you generate, you get massive insights from your customers. So I think it's worth it.